Coach Panos coming at you. 20.3 handstand push-ups. Set up. Foot away from the wall. Set up some tape markers on a double mat or some kind of cushion to protect your neck and your head from the impact. Make sure you have a long tape line. None of this short little tape target. This is unrealistic, and I call that a fugazi, right? Long tape, heels clear, right? So things you want to think about here is close together as close as possible to the wall and hands to each other. Feet together, dorsiflex, midline neutral. Watch me do a couple of reps. Strict. Now, in a perfect world, you're doing strict. The standard becomes way easier. That movement is way less metabolic. A lot less things could go wrong. However, in reality, most people are not going to do strict for all 45 reps. So what you do is find a balance. Maybe you do some strict and some kipping. Maybe you do some strict in the beginning and kip the rest. Maybe you just, find a way to kind of work through it. But ideally, if you can, do some strict. If not, just go kip, break them up, right? Find a breakdown that you can do with precision. These are not going to be machine gun reps. If you're bumping them out, knocking them out, chances are you're not hitting the standard every time, or you're coming really close, making your judge's job difficult. The reality is, this is set up in a way that makes you have to force and hold the lockout to get the rep. Now, early in the set, you might be able to get it. Late in the set, things change. Maybe you get fatigued. In that case, you go from your standard grip that you start with, and you bring them in a little closer. So if you're going to do a set of 21 in 5 sets, maybe the first 2 sets, you keep the same hand placement, and then you bring your hands in a little bit on the follow-up set, just to make sure that you have the reach. Because not only will your shoulders get tired, but your shrug will fatigue also. This right here accounts for a lot of that distance. And if you're really forcing that hold, waiting for the call, you're going to get tired there. So that's why you have to bring your hands in a little bit. Now, I just showed you strict reps. In doing a kip, there's a knee splayed kip and there's a knee tuck kip. Both are okay, except the tuck forces your pelvis to round and your spine, and that leads to an arch on the kick out. That means your body's gonna get pulled away from the wall in a loopy fashion. That's not ideal. I would like to think about this movement as a wide squat, duck style, knees out, or plie style with your knees out. Just bring your hips to the point where your actively range of motion is limited, and then at that point you launch it. So don't go any past that point is what I'm trying to say. If you force that point and keep going, that's when your spine will bend, and that's when you're going to get that launching into a loop pattern that I talked about. Let me show you a couple of reps for each. Now, I will mention this. I have put some lines here, right, to differentiate between where my hand starts when I'm strict. It's about a foot away from the wall, which I know is going to keep me really vertical and direct to the tape. I'm going to show you one from the side as well. Then, if I'm going to kip, I'm going to move my hands a little further away, which is why I have this line. Now, you don't really need this line. You can use this as a reference point, and maybe instead of being inside the 90-degree box, you want to just go on top of it, okay? That's why I have these here. They're a quick reference. So when you're kicking down on your follow-up sets, you know exactly where you have to go. Now, you notice how I have this 90 degrees, and my hand wants to match that. That's going to give me a much stronger position of torque to press out of, right? Just like when you're doing a push-up, you want to have torque in your shoulder to get more recruitment out of your lats, out of your serratus, out of your shoulders, right? A lot more power in that push. Also, when you're handstand walking, you want to handstand walk like this, not like this, okay? Ideally, right? Not to say that doesn't work, some people pull it off. Now, you have your markers. I'm going to show you some kips from down here with this spacing, and then I'm going to bring it in a little bit, but not go any further away from the wall on my follow-up sets. And I'm going to show you some with each kip style. Knees out, knees tuck. Let's go knees out first. I'll do 2. Okay? Then I'm gonna bring my knees in, tucked. Okay? They're both okay. They look okay now probably. However, in the middle of the workout, when you're under fatigue, you know, you just don't get as much reach for whatever reason. Maybe it's a shrug, maybe it's your hands, maybe you're looping. I've gone into workouts where I feel like it's good, but it's just not. Right? Your judge is gonna be right here, looking at you. Nope, right? It's his word over yours, and you're upside down, so you have to believe it. So what I would suggest is bring your hands a little further away and tighter if you're gonna do that, because you have to account for that distance away from the wall by bringing them in tighter. So, and also, on your kick, try to go froggy style, not doggy style, right? I just made that up. All right, so froggy style means you're staying close to the wall. Center of gravity stays close to the wall and you stay more vertical. Let me show you from the side what that looks like. Let's go froggy style. Rivet, rivet. Okay. Down, hips, froggy. Right? My knees are out. Whoa. Let's go doggy. Down, hips, tuck. Right? So right around here, if I keep bringing my knees in, you see how my back wants to be on the wall now, my hips come off? That's going to lead to a loop. That loop sometimes casts you away from the wall. You don't want that. Is make sure you're not getting cast out, stay close. So you have to make adjustments. Your hands go out, they should come in, right? Knees should always be out. Always dorsiflex. Hold the rep until you get the count. One last thing. If you have a sticky wall, plexiglass, you need to have something at the base of the heel, because otherwise that friction will chew up your progress and it will feel way harder. So what I do, although it's not legal in, like, let's say the games, they're not going to let you put tape on your heel. However, Nike Metcons offer a plastic heel. So if you can get away with that, I don't see why you can't put tape on your Reeboks. Whatever. That being said, in the open, if you must, wear your Metcons. Otherwise, put a little bit of thumb tape, some kind of tape that allows it to slide, because you don't want to have any friction. And if you're worried about somebody geeking out on you and telling you that you're cheating, then wear your Ollies or put your Metcons on. That's all, right? One more thing, really important, injury prevention. You do not want to be jacking up your neck in the bottom. Let me show you a bad habit that I see people do all the time. See my neck? When I pull my knees in, this happens. That is the worst thing you can do for yourself. You are doing a disservice to your future. That is damaging your cervical spine under load. You have compression, radiating pain. Nothing good comes out of that. Keep it together. Double chin in the tuck. Another way to eliminate that is don't let your pelvis round and don't ball up too much, which is what I mentioned before. Just bring it into what you can actively control without any assistance and then kick it. However, if this is what I can control and then I pull more, I get more tuck. That's when the problem arises and you get cast out or your neck comes out. So you need to be aware of what's going on and make sure that it's the right thing for you. Breaking it up, advisable. Small sets if you have to. Do what you can to get out of it and don't waste reps. It's better to be precise, take a little longer, and move on and make up for it somewhere else. Here. Who loves deadlifts? All right. So we're setting up the deadlifts, talking about how to execute, how to set up knee, foot, grip, cycling, singles. Diane workout. Your deadlift bar is here, 90-degree turn, your handstands are here. Boom, you're done with that. Then you have somebody else rotate your bar. After you finish, when you're in the last set of 9 handstands, they load the plates up for you. Now you're ready for the 315 if you get there, and your handstand walk is parallel to the wall. That's ideal. Saves time, keeps it nice and tight. You can have a secondary bar set up. It's up to you. Okay? Now, deadlifting. Foot stance under your hips. Arms in line with your shoulders. braced, a little bit of shoulder, kind of like let them sit. Don't pull them back, right? You don't need to do that. Let them sit nice and neutral and grip the bar with a mixed grip. You grab it, don't choke it. Relax, okay? So, look at my hands. If that bar has 350 pounds on it, right? The bar is gonna hang out of my fingers like this a little bit. And that's okay. It's not gonna fall out because I have the mixed grip. Okay, the mixed grip is this one, right? Boom or boom, one or the other. Let it hang loose, right? Deep breath. Hold it. When you get to here, drive the knees back, squeeze the glutes to lock out. That's it. If you're locking out like this, you're probably doing this off the ground. You're probably pulling the bar to here and then driving, leaning, right? That hurts to look at, right? It hurts to like think about. It's not efficient. You're not using your hamstrings enough. Your back is taking a massive amount of shear and it's not efficient. So think of it like a press. Press the floor away from you and keep pressing under a tight contraction in the midline and long arms. Head is in line with your spine. Your head should not be up looking at the fans, okay? Now I'm pausing to demonstrate what happens when you get to here to here. You don't lean and lock. You basically squeeze your thighs and squeeze your glutes, bam, and you just lock it out right here. Let the hands just kind of sit, let the arms be long, the shoulders kind of sit neutral, and just repeat that. Hips go back, down, boom, okay? Wear a belt right out of the gate if you feel like it's gonna give you an advantage, because you're gonna need it for the second workout by big time, right? Especially under that heavy load, it's gonna feel a lot heavier. Break up your sets. You're probably gonna be able to make up time here, more so than here, because there's a lot of risk factor here, unless you have a judge that's very generous and you're machine gunning reps on the handstands. If that's the case, I wanna see the video. That's all I gotta say, right? Nah, this standard is set up so that you can hold that position and prove to your judge that you're getting the rep. So the time is gonna be made up here, testing your strength under fatigue, and then testing your skill as well. So the deadlift can be dangerous, just be careful. Break up your sets, wear a belt, use proper breathing and stance. And then